Russia's recent decision to expand its orders for the BMPT Terminator combat vehicle in 2026 has generated both intrigue and skepticism in equal measure. The announcement, made by Eurovagonzavod director Alexander Potapov, was notably vague on details, offering no clear figure for how many additional units will be produced or even which version of the vehicle will be prioritized. Yet even with this ambiguity, the move illustrates Moscow's determination to keep the program alive at a time when questions about its military value, export potential, and industrial feasibility loom larger than ever. The BMPT program has always been a curious endeavor within Russia's armored doctrine. Designed as a support platform for tanks, the Terminator was conceived to eliminate threats that main battle tanks cannot easily suppress, primarily dispersed infantry equipped with portable anti-tank weapons. Its origins lie in lessons drawn from the brutal urban battles in Chechnya during the 1990s, where Russian tank units suffered heavy losses against concealed fighters armed with rocket-propelled grenades and guided missiles. By mounting twin 30mm autocannons, a coaxial machine gun, grenade launchers, and anti-tank missiles on the rugged T-72 chassis, the designers sought to create a vehicle that could suppress multiple threats at once, allowing tanks to concentrate on enemy armor and fortified positions. On paper, the BMPT offered something novel, a force multiplier capable of engaging several targets simultaneously with high situational awareness and heavy protection. The modernized BMPT-72, often referred to as Terminator 2, went further by introducing a reduced crew, a more compact layout, and an updated fire control system. These refinements were meant to simplify the design, enhance survivability, and integrate digital systems in line with modern battlefield requirements. Yet, despite these innovations, the Terminator has never managed to carve out a clear doctrinal niche, and its operational history has remained limited. Its most notable deployment occurred in Ukraine, where Russian forces attempted to showcase the vehicle as part of mechanized assaults. However, the results were far from spectacular. Instead of transforming combined arms operations, the Terminator often appeared in small numbers, almost as a demonstration of capability rather than a decisive weapon system. Military analysts observed that its presence seemed more symbolic than practical, raising doubts about whether the platform could fulfill its intended role in large-scale modern warfare. The relatively small production runs, coupled with the absence of confirmed large orders from foreign clients, reinforced the impression that the vehicle was caught between concept and reality. Given this backdrop, Moscow's decision to increase procurement for 2026 invites multiple interpretations. One explanation is pragmatic. The Russian Ministry of Defense may be attempting to test the platform more broadly under real combat conditions, particularly as the nature of warfare evolves with drones, loitering munitions, and increasingly networked battlefield environments. A vehicle like the Terminator, with its array of weapons and capacity for rapid target engagement, could theoretically offer protection to armored columns against fast-moving or concealed threats. If integrated effectively, it might provide a partial answer to the vulnerabilities tanks face against swarming drone tactics and ambushes. Another interpretation points toward industrial and political motives. Eurovagonzavod, one of Russia's flagship defense manufacturers, has long balanced state orders with export ambitions. By increasing domestic demand, the Kremlin may be ensuring production lines remain active, thereby sustaining industrial capacity and sending a signal of confidence to potential foreign buyers. For Russia, which often leverages arms exports as both an economic and geopolitical tool, maintaining the image of reliable and ongoing production is crucial, even if actual sales remain limited. In this sense, the Terminator order could function less as a strict military requirement and more as a demonstration of resilience under sanctions and wartime pressures. Those pressures are considerable. Western sanctions have constrained Russia's access to advanced components, including electronics, optics, alloys, and software critical for modern fire control and targeting systems. While Russia has attempted to compensate by turning to domestic substitutes or sourcing from partner states, the process has raised costs, lengthened production timelines, and created uncertainty over quality. The BMPT, like many Russian armored platforms, depends on a mix of indigenous and imported components. Keeping production alive therefore represents both a technical and financial challenge. Each additional order requires not just political will but also practical solutions to sustain supply chains under increasingly restrictive conditions. The export picture looks equally complicated. Russia's traditional arms customers, ranging from states in the Middle East to Asia and Africa, face mounting difficulties in engaging with Russian defense firms. Secondary sanctions, challenges in financing and ensuring deals, and the political risks of appearing too closely aligned with Moscow have all depressed demand. While some states still quietly procure Russian systems, often in smaller numbers or through indirect channels, the large contracts that once defined Russia's defense export sector have become rare. In this environment, highlighting domestic orders for vehicles like the Terminator may serve to reassure foreign audiences that production is not stalling. Still, the paradox remains that Moscow's prioritization of domestic wartime needs limits its ability to fulfill external orders in significant volumes. The BMPT itself embodies a paradox that extends beyond economics. Presented as an innovative response to the limitations of tanks in urban combat, it has consistently struggled to demonstrate strategic relevance on the battlefield. Its design philosophy assumes a context where tanks and infantry advance in close coordination and require specialized support against anti-tank teams. Yet modern warfare is increasingly characterized by long-range precision strikes, pervasive surveillance, and asymmetric threats that do not always align with the Terminator's intended role. This raises the question of whether Russia is investing in a platform that addresses yesterday's problems rather than tomorrow's. Nevertheless, dismissing the BMPT entirely would overlook the possibility of adaptation. Military history is replete with systems that initially struggled to prove themselves but later found utility in unexpected roles once doctrine caught up with technology. If Russia succeeds in integrating the Terminator more systematically into combined arms operations, or if modifications enable it to counter the emerging drone threat more effectively, it may yet validate its existence. For now, however, the evidence suggests that it is more often a tool of political messaging, used to project the image of technological innovation and resilience, than a decisive battlefield asset. As 2026 approaches, the expanded orders for the BMPT Terminator will test not only Russia's industrial capacity but also the credibility of the program itself. Each unit delivered will represent both a commitment to sustaining a controversial platform and a wager on its future relevance. Whether the vehicle ultimately secures a meaningful role in Russia's armored doctrine or remains a symbol of ambition outpacing utility will depend on how it performs in the unforgiving conditions of modern war. For now, the Terminator remains emblematic of Russia's broader defense industry, determined to endure under pressure, eager to showcase innovation, but caught between the demands of combat reality and the imperatives of political narrative.